Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fish Tank Guy podcast, the podcast where I record the podcast in my car while I'm at a snow resort because my son is snowboarding and I'm in the car for 2 hours, so I figured it was a good opportunity to record a podcast rather than just sit here and goof around on my phone the entire time. That's right. So, if this podcast sounds a little bit off, you guys hear a little bit of background noise, that's because I am in the car. I'm holding the mic, so the volume might fluctuate as my arm gets tired, maybe. I'm not really sure. And yeah, I'm just going to try to do the podcast as normal. So today we are going to be going over the regular components of the podcast, which includes 5 movie reviews in 5 minutes or less. I'll give you guys a video game update. I will give you guys updates on my aquariums. And I also have an excellent topic for you guys today talking about Chemipure. Chemipure is one of the most popular let me call it filtration media options out there on the market that people add, especially to nano reef tanks. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Chemipure actually is and if it's a good value for your money. This is very eye-opening stuff. I hope you guys stick around and listen to the podcast. I'm going to play the intro music and we're going to get right into it. Okay, so that was my dope podcast intro music. Thank you guys for sticking with me through the intro. If you're still here, congratulations. You're one of 10 people who have made it this far, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So as I mentioned, I'm currently at a ski and snowboarding resort that's located not too far away from where I'm at. It's called Peak and Peak. It's in Western New York. And actually, my stepson is quite a big snowboarding fan. He started doing it last year as part of a ski club. It would have been in 7th grade. No, it was in 8th grade. They had a ski and snowboarding club at their school, and they brought a bus up here, and he learned how to snowboard, and he really enjoys it. So I've tried snowboarding and skiing a few times. It's not really my thing. Snowboarding is akin to skateboarding, so I tried it first, but I will say it's much more difficult than skiing. And so I tried skiing also and did pretty well with it, but it's just kind of one of those sports where it hasn't really gotten its teeth into me yet. Or, you know what I mean? It hasn't gotten it's not the right word. It hasn't gotten the claws into me yet. I'm not like really hooked on it. Maybe it's because, I'm 35 and I don't want to take too many nasty spills now. And I think the risk-reward ratio is not good enough. So the risk of getting hurt doing it is too high based on how much fun I have doing it, maybe is kind of where I'm at. So at some point in time, maybe I'll look into it a little bit more and give it a little bit more time. But it's also a very expensive sport just to come up here. We actually got him a lift pass, and he saved a bunch of money to get his gear and all that stuff. So, but even still, he saved up the money because he really loves it and he loves doing it. And I get it. If it was something I really loved, like fish tanks, right? I put a bunch of money into fish tanks, but not quite as much money as he probably put into his snowboarding equipment. So maybe over time, but anyway. Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. So I'm just sitting in my car like a loser there and watching everybody snow and ski and have fun. But at least I'm sitting in front of the beginner hill where most people are not very good. So it makes me feel a bit better about just sitting in the car because some of them don't really look like they're having all that much fun. So, and it's only 20 degrees outside. So yeah, would not be my ideal day to go out and do any of that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So how's everybody doing listening to the podcast? How are you guys? How are you guys and gals there? You guys doing good? Hanging in there? COVID style? I see a light at the end of the end of the tunnel when it comes to COVID, which is nice. People are starting to get vaccinated. My parents already got vaccinated. My wife's aunt and uncle got vaccinated. We're starting to know more people that are getting the vaccine. So maybe we can return to some semblance of normal again. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm kind of an extroverted introvert. That means, to me, what that means is that if you put me in a social situation, I'll do okay. I can, interact with people and talk just fine, and I can have fun at parties and things like that. But more than likely, my choice would be to not even go. So that's the introverted side of me. So COVID hasn't been so bad for me as it might be for some people who really like to get out there and be social and be extroverted and talk with people and things like that. But, going through this period of time makes me realize that I do like hanging out with people. I do like socializing. I don't like doing it a lot, but I do enjoy doing it. I do miss it. So I think that when things go back to normal, I'm going to try to be a better, I don't know how you'd say it. I'm going to try to be a better, friend, maybe like a social friend. I'm going to try to meet up with my friends more often and different things like that. I've already started a Discord channel with a couple of my buddies that were my best friends in high school and college, and now that we're adults, we don't really talk all that much anymore. I started a Discord channel for the three of us, and even just through that Discord channel, it's been nice to be like, hey, what are you guys up to this weekend? And hey, what's going on in your lives? Just little bits of time to catch up and connect with them has been really cool. And I also think it's really important. So if you're one of those people who are very indignant about having friends, I don't have friends, I don't have time for friends, it's been proven that having strong social ties is actually very healthy. So it's not even just about social status or saying that you go out and you're going to a party or whatever. It's actually about being healthy. And I don't just mean it's good for your mental health. Not even just that. It's been known to cross over and have a physical effect of improving people's health. So, be sure to reach out to your friends, stay connected, even as you get older, even if it's a few minutes once a week or something. Just maintain that connection, because I think at the end of the day, you're going to be happy that you have them. So, all right, that's my little rambling about me being at the Snow Peak and COVID and all that stuff. I don't really like to talk about COVID all that much because, we've all been dealing with it for so long that I don't think you guys tune into the podcast to listen about COVID, but it was just my little take on it. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a tank update. So I'm going to start breaking up the podcast into not fish tank, not fish tank topics, right? So my first thing there was not fish tank. Now I'm going to give you guys an update on my fish tanks. Then I'm going to do my 5-minute movie reviews, 5 movie reviews in 5 minutes or less. I'm going to give you a video game update, and then I'm going to go into my fish tank topic of the week and wrap the podcast up with the fish of the week. Okay, so updates on my aquariums. I would say for the first time in the last 5 years, I have been able to give my aquariums a lot more attention than I have in the recent past, which I'm very happy about. My BioCube is looking much better. Okay, let's start with the BioCube. I have a 29-gallon BioCube. I have the 32-gallon lid, so that's the lid with the LEDs, as many of you know who watch my channel. So my BioCube was starting to get a little green. I was getting a lot of green hair algae. I was getting algae on the back wall very consistently to the point where I was scraping it off every couple weeks. And that was mainly because I wasn't keeping up on water changes, and I had no cleaner crew. None. And I've started to realize that this could be the source of a lot of people's issue with their aquarium, that you initially get a cleaner crew, over time they die off, right? Or they are victims of the harsh reef environment, right? Which is snails get killed by hermits, hermits kill other hermits, things eat other things. Like, it's crazy, right? It's like brutal out there. It's brutal out here, man. Out in the reef tank life, man. You gotta do what you can to survive, right? It's brutal. So over time, your cleaner crew gets depleted to the point where you have a couple left. You know, one or two, maybe a couple big ones that made it, that dominated over the others. It killed all the others. Who ate most of the food? The others died. Who knows? And I think we neglect to replenish our cleaner crew over time, and we forget what a critical part of our saltwater or reef tank environment that cleaner crew is. Because I reached out to reefcleaners.org, I believe his name is John, who runs that company, told him about my situation with my BioCube. He hooked me up with some snails and some hermits, and I bought a pencil urchin, which a pencil urchin, or the pencil urchin, I should say, has probably been the best and simultaneously the worst cleaner crew member I've ever had. Now, I will explain to you guys why. Because the pencil urchin eats like a lawnmower. Unbelievable. All my rock work was cleaned off. The back wall of my BioCube was cleaned off. So that's why he's good. He eats algae like a freaking lawnmower, man. Now why he's bad? Because he's like a bull in a china shop. He or she, whatever it is. The pencil urchin does not care about its surroundings. So what that means is he would knock coral off that had been glued to rocks for years. He actually put a slice in the cable connected into the cord connected to one of my power heads, which was causing it to start to short out, which could have caused a fire. And in general, he's just kind of all over the place. So after, I decided, okay, after he's done his job, he's got the tank caught up. I bought a cleaner crew to maintain things. I'm going to move him into another tank, which is exactly what I did. So the BioCube no longer has the pencil urchin, but it has probably 75% of the cleaner crew left of the recent replenish I did. And they keep up with the tank very nicely. So the tank is looking much better. I reworked my corals. I took corals out. I added corals back in. I kind of have a vision for what I would like them to do, like where I'd like them to spread, the rocks that I'd like them to cover, which I think is very important when you have a saltwater tank, is kind of having a vision, but then also having patience because, coral are not the fastest growing things of all time. With reefroids, they grow a little bit faster, I'll tell you that. But they're not the fastest growing things of all time, so you need to have a vision of what you'd like your tank to be, and then you have to have patience to just kind of let it go and let it do its thing. So that's where I'm at with my BioCube. Now, the other nice thing that I'm really excited about with my BioCube is I recently added supplemental lights. The supplemental lights I added are actinics. They're LEDs. They're all blue. And they really make the aquarium look very nice. Now, I talked on the previous podcast about changing the lighting in my BioCube and it costing anywhere from $250 to $300. Oh, sorry. That was a yawn. Costing upwards of $250, and I just don't want to spend that amount of money on the tank. So what I found was a solution that cost me around $40. That's right, 40. And has really added a nice blue to the aquarium. It makes the corals pop a lot more. And, it's adding a few more watts of light. So some of the corals that may have needed more than what comes in the stock hood are going to be a little happier. Now, I don't know exactly how those lights are going to pan out yet, so before I recommend them to people who watch my YouTube channel or to you guys here on the podcast, I am going to, watch them monitor them, see how corals do with them for, at least a few weeks, a month maybe. And then I'll let you guys know about these awesome supplemental LED lights that I found. Great solution to add to a BioCube if you have a BioCube. Now, moving on to the next tank, the Fluval Evo Aquarium is doing just fine. I really like the tank a lot, 13.5 gallon aquarium. I might consider adding these supplemental lights to it as well, but right now the stock lights are doing just fine. The fish are doing okay. My diamond goby is doing just fine. My black and white chromis is kind of a bully. I talked about ditching him before on one of my videos and maybe getting, I can't remember the name of the fish that I was thinking about getting. It's the one that is purple and yellow, split in the middle. Gosh dang it. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, the Fluval Evo's doing really good. I've got nice setup in the back now with Purigen and Matrix Carbon, along with Marine Pure. Is it Pure Marine or Marine Pure? Marine Pure? Marine Pure, I think. Marine Pure gems as extra biological filtration. I do a water change about once every 2 weeks. That keeps things looking pretty nice. I have quite a few coral in the tank now. Again, I have a vision of what I'd like them to do. It's primarily going to turn into a zoanthid tank for me, I think. I've never really had a lot of zoanthids, but I've started purchasing more of them when I go to fish stores, and I really like the way they look, and I like the pop of color they add to the tank. So I think I'm going to have a lot of zoas in the Fluval Evo. I do have a torch coral that I really love. I also am considering taking out the pulsing xenia because it's doing so-so, and I'm gonna put a frog spawn in its place. So I'm gonna have two of those types of corals that will add movement to the aquarium, and the rest are gonna be composed of acans, zoanthids. I have a Monty at the top, and I would also like to add I have a purplish blue candy cane coral that I'm going to put in the middle of the rockwork. I'm going to let the zoas grow around it and kind of let it bloom a little bit. I'm going to use a candy cane in the middle of the zoas because it doesn't have sweeping tentacles. And the sweeping tentacles of a torch coral or a frog spawn could easily sting zoanthids, and they could cause some chemical warfare, which I'd like to avoid. So in summary, the Fluval Evo is doing great. And my other tanks are the fish tank duplex. The one tank has the pencil urchin in it now. And the second tank, I'm going to have a YouTube video about it, is going to be turned into a frag tank. I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for a while. My dad's working with me on getting some things 3D printed for the frag tank that I might actually sell. I think they are awesome. They're awesome little accessories that could be used for a frag tank that people might enjoy. And I'm considering selling them, which would be really cool. So stay tuned to the channel for updates on that and updates on my other two tanks. And that will now conclude my fish tank update. So let's move on to 5 movie reviews in 5 minutes or less. I never do it in 5 minutes or less, but I think it's a catchy title, so I'm going to stick with it. And I've got a variety of newer and older movies. Not very old, but I just mean like not. Oh gosh! Oh my gosh! I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning. Okay. I've got a variety of brand new movies and movies that came out within the last couple years. Okay? I'm going to try to go through them in 5 minutes, but you know the deal. Okay, up first is Tenet. Tenet came out in the year 2020. It is a Christopher Nolan movie, same guy who did Inception. It is essentially a version of like Mission Impossible / James Bond with a time traveling element mixed in. I don't think I talked about this before on the podcast. If I did, I apologize. Anyway, it was very interesting. I don't really want to give too much away about it. I will say it's a movie that definitely will require a second watch to fully understand, or you'll need to do some reading on it to understand it. Some people don't like movies like that. I do. As long as it isn't too complex and like over the top complicated, I do enjoy movies that make me think a little bit and make me go, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I like that," right? So that was what Tenet was for me. It's time traveling, but with a twist, and the twist is really cool. It's not something I've ever seen in a movie before. So definitely check out Tenet if you like Mission Impossible, if you like James Bond, if you like anything to do with time travel. Tenet is a really cool movie. I gave it an A-. Next movie up on my list is called Baby Driver. It came out in the year 2017. It's an action film, and a large portion of the movie focuses on music and the use of music being incorporated into action scenes, which is really cool. It's really well done. Basically, they just sync things happening. They sync things up that are happening in the movie with the song that's playing. And a lot of the songs are really popular songs, so it's like really cool to see that. It is essentially like a crime heist type movie. Kevin Spacey is I guess he's the leader, or he's kind of like the villain. I don't know. It's very interesting. I watched it with my wife, and my wife loved it too. So it's a movie for it's not just a guy movie, right? You can watch it with your wife or your girlfriend or whoever. It's really fun. It's really intense, and you're not quite sure how it's going to end. Like if it's going to end good or it's going to end bad. I'm not going to say how it ends, but I really enjoyed the movie. I gave it an A. Like I said, my wife gave it an A. Baby Driver, definitely check it out. Okay, so up next is a movie called Palmer. It actually came out in 2021. It stars Justin Timberlake. He used to be a convict. Now he's out. You don't know what he did, but you eventually find out what he did. He's having a hard time getting a job. Nobody wants to hire him. He basically goes back to his hometown, and I think it's his aunt that he's living with. And basically next door, there's a mobile home, and there are like, I don't know the right word to describe these people, but they're like deadbeat parents, right? The mom is kind of like a druggie, and the dad's always, yelling and kind of being violent. And they have a young son. And it's unfortunate, because their young son's kind of caught in the middle of all this, but he's such an innocent, like, good kid. He doesn't really realize kind of what's happening around him. And anyway, the great thing about this movie is that and I don't want to get political here, okay? But the great thing about this movie is that the little boy, I want to say he's like between 8 and 10 years old, is the little boy really liked girl things. So he liked princess shows, and he wanted to be a princess for Halloween, right? And he just liked things that would typically be liked by a girl. And there's even a scene where Justin Timberlake goes, "You're a boy, right?" And the kid goes, Yeah, I know I'm a boy. So the reason I mention this is because the thing that I loved about this movie is they never tried to label this kid, right? They didn't group him into a certain, whatever, they have labels for everything now, right? They have labels for different types of genders and, different types of sexuality and stuff like that. And everybody's like trying to label everything like down to the minuscule preference, right? Well, I'm a girl, but I like things that boys like, so I'm this kind of girl. And, it's like exhausting. And I think it's unnecessary. I think it puts unnecessary pressure on kids, right? Especially when they're just finding out who they are. Like, they need to find a label for themselves, too. And the thing that I loved about this movie is they never gave this kid a label. They just let him be who he is. And Justin Timberlake ended up really taking a liking to this kid. And I don't want to describe the rest of the movie, but it was a great drama. It was a great drama. And, like, The maturing of Justin Timberlake's character in the movie was really cool to see. His interactions with the little boy was really cool. The little boy was funny, right? So I thought it was just a great movie. To me, it screamed like you can be yourself. You don't have to label yourself. Just be who you are, like what you like, and hang out with the people who accept you, right? So I really loved it. I gave it an A. Great movie. All right, last two. I know I'm over my time, so I'm going to speed it up. Next movie is called Don't Let Go. Came out in 2019. I would describe it as a thriller. It is... I don't even know who's in it. Lesser known actors and actresses are in it. Basically, if you've ever seen the movie Frequency, which is a father communicating, or which is a son communicating with his father who has passed away via a radio. So it's like a weird time traveling movie. But in this movie, the lead character, he is a policeman, and his niece, who he's very close with, dies. She dies, and her dad and her mom, because the parents were involved in something shady, right? And she ended up dying. And he's devastated. This is all in the trailer. I'm not giving anything away. He was devastated. And then, like a week after she passed away, or a day or a couple days after she passed away, he got a phone call from her. And he was like, looked at the phone like, what the heck? How'd somebody get her phone? And he picks it up, and he's like, hello, who is this? And she's like, duh, you know who it is. Like, she was talking to him like nothing had happened. And here, she was calling him from the past. And he felt like this was an opportunity to save her. But the only way he could talk to her is when she called him from the past. So, very interesting. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was well done. It was... I think it could have been fleshed out a little bit more. They could have done a little bit more with the story, but overall I thought it was really good. I thought it was very interesting. It kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. I gave it a B+. I'm not sure what my wife gave it yet. I didn't ask her. We just watched it, but again, called Don't Let Go. Came out in 2019. Thriller, B+. And last but not least is a movie called Sputnik. I'll be really quick with this one. This is actually a Russian movie. It's basically about two astronauts that went up into space. When they came back, one of the astronauts was dead, and the second astronaut was not quite himself because there was some sort of alien creature living inside of him. The entire focus of the movie and goal of the movie is to separate the astronaut from the alien that's inside of him, and they're not quite sure how to do it. It's a thriller. It's kind of like a horror movie. I thought it was very interesting. Okay, my wife is calling me. I will pause and be right back. Okay, and we're back. Yeah, my wife is calling me. Anyway, this Sputnik movie, it was very interesting. I don't know where I left off. Anyway, it came out in 2020. It is a Russian film, so it's all subtitled. You got to be okay with watching movies with subtitles. I'm fine with it. I thought it was good. I thought it could be better. I gave it a B. So a pretty solid group of movies. You got Tenet, Baby Driver, Palmer, Don't Let Go, and Sputnik. I would recommend all of them. I didn't think any of them were complete duds. So there you go with that. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick video game update for you guys. I am still playing Fortnite a little bit with my my best friend. We play games a couple nights a week, so I'm still playing Fortnite with him here or there. I am still playing Apex Legends on Season 8. I'm enjoying it. I'm using Bangalore a lot more often now. I still enjoy the game. I wish World's Edge was back in the map rotation, but I do like the new Kings Canyon, and Olympus is still fine, but I pretty much just play Kings Canyon whenever I hop on. So I play ranked if Olympus is on rotation, and if it's not, I'll do some pubs. But Apex Legends, I'm really enjoying that still. In terms of other games, I'm back into Overcooked 2 with my friend, which is a blast to play, especially if you have someone you can play it with like in person, like couch co-op. It's a lot of fun. it's a puzzle. It's kind of like a puzzle solving game. So as long as you have, someone that you play with that will be persistent and won't give up, right? And will keep trying different things. It's a lot of fun. If you play with somebody who's like, we didn't do it, and like, I don't want to try it again. They're like, no persistence, no, I don't know what you call it, right? Don't play with them. But otherwise, it's a lot of fun. And obviously, you can play it online as well. So Overcooked 2 is great. And then the other game that I've been playing is a Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. It is a platformer that I think came out in 2019, maybe early 2020. I'm pretty much to the end of it now. I've enjoyed it. The only thing I don't enjoy about it is I am a completionist at heart. So that being said, I try to get everything in a game. And in that particular game, you have to do a little bit of extra searching. And you might have to replay levels a couple times to find all the secrets. So I did that the best I could the first time that I played through the levels. A couple of them I played again on my own. But, once I got to the point where I was missing a few things here or there, I just look it up. And the only reason I look it up is because I don't have enough time to dedicate to finding those things, but I'm a completionist, so it'll bug me if I don't. So I know looking it up is kind of cheating, but it's not because I can't do it. It's just because I don't have the time anymore. But anyway, it's a really great game. If you love platformers, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's on Game Pass now for Xbox, so it's actually included in that if you do have the Game Pass. So now we're going to move on to our fish tank topic of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the fish tank topic of the week. I need some intro music for the fish tank topic. I need somebody to auto-tune me and create a little jingle jangle here for the fish tank topic of the week. Oh, sorry. Anyway, not my wheelhouse. Okay. So, I want to talk about Chemi Pure. Now, the reason I want to talk about Chemi Pure is that when I was initially setting up my Fluval Evo, I was trying to decide what chemicals, what filtration media I wanted to use, and Chemi Pure kept coming up repeatedly in my searches. Oh, I use Chemi Pure. Oh, I use Chemi Pure. Oh, I use Chemi Pure. Chemi Pure Blue is what I use. Oh, I actually use Chemipure Elite. Oh, okay. Well, it's all back and forth about this Chemi Pure. Now, I've heard of it, obviously. I've been in the hobby for a while now. I've known of it. I think I used it a couple times back when I first started my BioCube when I didn't know much about it. And, I don't know. I never really knew why I should be using it. I never really looked into it, which I think a lot of people are probably in the same boat. They just don't look into it. So I did a little bit of searching. And I went on Chemipure's website and I read up about the products there. And then I went on to some message boards and read about the products there. And guys and gals and ladies, essentially what I found is that Chemi Pure is a convenient packaging of other products, if that makes sense. So I'm going to tell you guys what Chemi Pure actually is and what its variations are, including Chemipure Elite and Chemipure Blue. And then I'm going to talk to you guys about alternatives and why you might want to go with an alternative. Okay. So, first let's talk about Chemi Pure all by itself. No suffix. Chemi Pure. Okay. Chemi Pure is essentially granular activated carbon. That's right. Granular activated carbon. Chemi Pure. It's got a fancy name. I'll give it that. But that's basically all it is. Granular activated carbon, or GAC. Right? GAC. 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 So what carbon is used for is essentially to clear up your water, right? If you have like a tint of color to your water, it helps to clear it up. It also helps to remove any odors that you might have in your aquarium. If you've got a real fish tanky smell with your aquarium, you might want to consider using GAC or Chemi Pure. And it also helps to filter out toxins that are sometimes released by corals during like coral warfare, right? Coral can sometimes release toxins as a defense mechanism, and GAC or Chemipure can be used to help keep those to a minimum so your coral don't essentially harm one another. Okay, so that's what granular activated carbon is. Now, there are various levels of GAC in terms of quality. There are some cheaper carbons that are just not that great. They don't really work very well. They don't work for a long amount of time. They don't have a lot of surface area to provide better filtration. Okay, so the great thing about Chemipure, okay, is that it's a very good quality version of carbon. So at least when you're buying Chemipure, it is a good version of carbon. It's a good version. It's not like it's a crappy version with a fancy name, Chemipure. Ooh. It is a good version of carbon, which is good. Okay? But that's what Chemipure is. And I'm going to talk to you about the cost of it, and I'm going to talk to you about alternatives in a minute. Okay? So, Chemipure. All right, that's what it is. Now, let's move up to Chemipure Elite. Ooh, Elite. Sounds very, very intimidating. It's elite. You know what I mean? So, what Chemipure Elite is carbon, granular activated carbon, or GAC, right? GAC, and PhosGuard. Essentially, that's what it is. There might be a little something extra mixed in there, but, for what you need to know, it's carbon and PhosGuard, which is phosphate remover. So, phosphates can be introduced in your tank in numerous ways. Most often through not using RODI water. It can leach off of some rocks and different things like that. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, so phosphates, as I was saying, phosphates can be introduced through RODI water, gosh dang it. Phosphates can be introduced through like tap water or water that isn't filtered properly, and can also leach off of some versions, some forms of rock and some sands, things like that, right? Phosphates are not great. They contribute to nuisance algae and various other, negative, effects within your aquarium. So you don't want phosphate. So PhosGuard is a good product. Now, the thing about PhosGuard is that it's exhausted fairly quickly. Right? PhosGuard is not something that works for months on end. So what's interesting about Chemipure Elite is they say you need to replace it every 3 months, but kind of the elite part of it will probably not last anywhere near 3 months. So that's the interesting thing about Chemipure Elite. So last but not least, we'll talk about Chemipure Blue, which is their newest product. It's crazy to me how they went from Chemipure Elite, which sounds like, gosh dang, I want this stuff. Elite, holy cow, right? They went from elite to a color, right? Blue. Okay, maybe because I want my aquarium to look blue. I'm not sure. I don't really get it. But anyway, Chemipure Blue is another variation of Chemipure. It is essentially carbon, right? Granular activated carbon. Granular activated carbon and Purigen. Basically, that's what Chemipure Blue is. Purigen is another form of filtration media that helps remove organic material from your water. It basically absorbs them, pulls out nasty stuff from your water. It's very good for your tank. I run Purigen in both my BioCube and my Fluval Evo. So it's a very good product. So Chemipure Blue, again, carbon and Purigen, both very good things on their own to have in your aquarium. And Chemipure Blue as a product is also a good, product to have in your aquarium to help you filter things out and keep your reef tank healthy, right? Chemipure Blue is good. Now, let's talk about alternatives, okay? And let's talk about cost. So, I'm just going to throw out 3 alternatives, okay? So, Chemipure, Chemipure Elite, and Blue, the 3 of them together are essentially carbon and Phosphate, carbon and Purigen. So, obviously, the first place you'll look at in terms of alternatives are Phosphate, right, and Purigen. And then the third is just a higher quality GAC, granular activated carbon. Higher quality GAC. Okay? So, yeah. So anyway, the alternatives we're looking at are those 3 things. I looked at C-Chem products. C-Chem Matrix Carbon, C-Chem Purigen, and C-Chem Phosphate. Okay? What I did, I'm not going to give you guys the math of everything. I'm not going to give you the breakdown of everything. But essentially, Chemipure, okay, all of these products, I did them based on 25 gallons. Because the Chemipure products were rated at up to 25 gallons. So, I'm going to assume these are the prices for treating a 25-gallon aquarium. It'll vary, obviously, if you have a smaller aquarium or a larger aquarium, but we're just going to use 25 gallons as a baseline, okay? Chemipure, $7 every 3 months, okay? Chemipure Elite, $10 every 3 months. And Chemipure Blue, $12 every 3 months. Now, Chemipure Blue, on the instructions, they said it lasts 4 months, but the other ones only last 3 months, so I'm going to stick with the 3 months. I don't know why it magically now works for another month, right? So, $7, $10, and $12 every 3 months. Now, if you were to buy those 3 other products separately, Matrix Carbon, C-Chem Purigen, and C-Chem Phosphate, okay? The total to run all 3, carbon, Purigen, and Phosphate, for 3 months is somewhere in between $3.80 and $4 every 3 months. So in Chemipure land, Chemipure Blue is $12, 3 times as much as if you bought the products separately. Now, if you're buying Chemipure for convenience, right, and you don't really care much about how much money you're spending on it, budget is not a limiting factor for you, then Chemipure is a good product. And it's a good product anyway. I'm not saying that it's not good. But I am saying that if budget is a concern for you, if you're trying to start an aquarium and you're looking at Chemipure and you're saying like, okay, I got to tack on $12 every 3 months, right? It all adds up, right? In a saltwater aquarium, it all adds up. So if you're looking at that, you can look at the 3 separate products, and those 3 products are good products, right? They're $4 every 3 months. $4 every 3 months to run carbon, Purigen, and Phosphate is not bad at all. So that's kind of my thoughts on Chemipure. Like I said, I think it's a good product, but I think you should really know what you're actually getting, what you're actually purchasing, and how much it's costing you. So it's costing you quite a bit more than if you were to buy the product separately, but you are getting the convenience factor. It is a lot easier, right, to have carbon and Purigen mixed in one bag. You put it in. You don't have to get your own media bag. You don't have to, when it's exhausted, you just buy another one and you put it in. You don't have to measure it out and any of that stuff. So there is a convenience factor there that also comes into play. But that's what I had on Chemipure. So hopefully you guys learned a little something about Chemipure. I'm going to do a video on my channel about it as well. But you guys hear it. You guys hear it here first on the podcast. You guys get the exclusive first information because you guys are the diehards, and I appreciate you. And I appreciate you for listening to the podcast. You guys are the best. So let's do our fish of the week and wrap this up. The fish of the week this week is, or maybe it's probably the fish of the month, right? Fish of the month is the clown goby. Really cool looking fish. Care level easy. Temperament is peaceful. It's a blue, tan, yellowish in color. Minimum tank size is about 10 gallons. I kind of want to put one of these in my Evo, but I don't know if he'd get along well with my Diamond Goby. All right, we're going to do the overview here. The clown goby is common with the... you guys don't care about that. It's usually found among soft and hard coral colonies, so all of the coral colonies, I guess. They are a small yellow fish with blue vertical lines around the eyes and gills and a blue horizontal line along the dorsal fin. Their body color can vary between dark brown and pale yellow. They are a peaceful fish that makes a wonderful addition to a reef aquarium containing colonies of polyp coral and other soft corals, as they enjoy swimming and hiding amongst the polyps. It requires a 10-gallon or larger aquarium and prefers branched corals, often resting on them for hours at a time. Oh, that's cool. It will rarely become aggressive towards other fish, but will fight with its own kind in smaller tanks. It is best if it is kept with other docile species. And let's see, its diet consists of a variety of brine shrimp, mysis, table shrimp, and frozen food for carnivores. Are there any testimonials? Heck yeah, there's testimonials. All right. Let's see what Sophia has to say. She's located in New York. Wow! All caps. What a gorgeous, adorable little fish. I got my clown goby today from Live Aquarium, and it was top freaking notch. Looks just like the picture. I will probably be putting another fish with him in my 12-gallon, but I love him, and he is a must-have for any aquarium. Thank you, Live Aquaria. Gosh dang, Sophia. Are you being paid by Live Aquaria? Come on, let's not make it so obvious here. Jeez, freaking getting money on the side. Charles Pope from Alabama says, this is a cool fish. Great specimen. Loves a perch on a rock. A great peaceful tank mate. All right, and then we got Jack Beardmore. Woo! What a last name, Beardmore, from the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia. He says, my goby came in perfect condition. Very nice specimen. Thanks, Live Aquaria. Gosh dang, Live Aquaria. You need to quit paying your people off to write these great customer testimonials, or at least tell them to make it a little less obvious that they're getting paid off. I'm kidding. All right, anyway, that is the Fish Tank Guy podcast for this month, the month of February. I forgot today is February. What day is today? Did I lose my mouse here? Where's my mouse? What day is it? It's 20th. Today's February 20th. This has been the podcast for the month of February 2021. Thank you guys so much for listening. Feel free to check out my channel on YouTube as The Fish Tank Guy. I'm going to have some merch coming out soon. I might also do some podcast merch for those of you who listen to the podcast. I would really appreciate your support. I do all this basically for free. I get some ad revenue on YouTube, but not a lot. And I hope you guys enjoy the content I make. I'm going to keep going. If you have any recommendations or suggestions for the podcast, please let me know. I will definitely talk about them because sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas. So I would really appreciate it. And yeah, that's all I've got for today. So again, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you have a great week. I hope everything is going well for you. Hang in there. We're going to get through this pandemic and we're going to be able to, be social and interact with each other again. Until then, you can listen to me yap at you on the podcast. I appreciate you doing that so much. And yeah, so all right, guys, have a good one. And I'll see you on the next podcast. See you later. Bye.